And again, and welcome to the Mastercam Lathe courses. In that lecture, and we're gonna create our toolpath like this. This is actually and only depth cut options. When we click here, this is the depth cut. This is unselected. This is the multi-axis unselected. I'm gonna activate my multi-passes. Of course, before that, we can turn to actually, and here I'm gonna make that stuff -60, and that's gonna be my depth cut can be 20. So it means that we're gonna see actually 2 and 3 toolpath. Okay, let's see the first and that step here. After that, we can activate our multi-axis. I'm gonna see 2 roughing process with and the 3 mm, and then we're gonna see 1 final and the finish depth options. Okay, so let's see our toolpath: roughing 1, roughing 2, and finishing. Roughing 1, roughing 2, and finishing process for each and the depths of and the cut process. Okay, this is the finish passes for all depths. We can also, as you remember, that we can also turn to final depth here. If I am turning to final depth, we're gonna see that roughing, 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 and finishing. Okay, if we select here all depths options, we're gonna see that roughing, roughing, finishing, roughing, roughing, finishing, roughing, roughing, finishing process. Okay, if we click here, this is the machine finish passes after roughing all contours options. We can recalculate it, and we're gonna see that kind of toolpath: roughing, roughing, and then roughing again, and roughing again, and then roughing and the roughing, and then we can turn here to be able to create finishing, finishing, and finishing process. Okay, that is quite important to select and that stuff. Okay, so we can also use the spring passes. I can write here 2, and then we can click on that button, apply to all finish passes options. If I am clicking here and recalculate our options here, we're gonna see that roughing, roughing here, and another roughing and roughing here, and roughing and roughing here, and then turn back here, finishing, finishing, and finishing. Because of the and finishing, finishing, finishing again, and finishing, finishing, and finishing again. That's all about because of the and apply all the finish passes. This is my spring passes. I mean that repeating our finishing process again and again. So I'm gonna repeat my finishing process 2 times. This is my finishing number 1. So it means that we're gonna rotate, we're gonna create 3 finishing parameters. But we can repeat that process for each depth of cut. But we can click here, spring passes after finishing all contours options. We're gonna see that kind of toolpath: roughing and roughing and roughing, roughing, roughing and roughing, and then finishing 1 and finishing 2, finishing 3, and then we can turn here to be able to create our repeating finishing options. Okay, so this is the actually machine spring passes after finishing all contours options. Okay, we can make unselect all of them, and then we can calculate here. This is the multi-axis: 2 roughing, 1 finishing process, and 2 repeating options for apply all the finishing passes. So we're gonna see, we can also see here bypass and one-way options. When we see here roughing, and the roughing and finishing, finishing, and roughing, finishing, and finishing, roughing and the roughing, finishing, and finishing process. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much for listening to me. That example can be seen in the C-axis face toolpath and 02. Okay, thank you very much.